Reuters.
See me holding the cine camera and being protected.
Reverend Chris Hesse is taking a trip down memory lane at his office in the Ghanaian capital, Accra.
This picture was taken around 1960 when I accompanied the first president to a tour of the Soviet Union. It wasn't only the Soviet Union, we went to the eastern countries, about 30 eastern countries. You can see there, you can see me here. I was then a young boy of about 25, 26. That is the president and the other officials.
Hesse is an award-winning cameraman and television producer whose personal history is closely linked to Ghana's.
At that time, the colonial government had set up a film school, a West African film school in Ghana, so I joined. That was the Gold Coast Film Unit. And that was where I started learning filmmaking. And I went to the camera department. And when we had independence in 1957, from 1956, when we had our internal independence, Kwame Nkrumah as the Prime Minister, I became his personal cameraman throughout.
Chris Hesse was there behind the lens when the charismatic Pan-Africanist Kwame Nkrumah took the reins of Black Africa's first independent nation in 1957. Ghana's triumph sparked a wave of independence movements across a continent yearning to rid itself of centuries of slavery and colonialism.
I am convinced that it is dangerous for the independent African state to wait any longer for the United Kingdom to do its duty. The time has come for the independent African states to take the initiative in their own hands.
But Nkrumah's dictatorial tendencies and poor economic leadership soon turned the people's idealism into bitterness.
I think Nkrumah thought that by 1970, if you check the principles of his 7-year development plan, which was to run 1964 through to 1971, where he thought would be in the middle income bracket already by then. Then Nkrumah would regret that he was unable to achieve it and before he was overthrown, and we have still not been able to achieve it by now.
His socialist leanings at the height of the Cold War meant he was treated with suspicion by some in the West, but got a warm welcome while on a state visit to Beijing in 1966. Nkrumah left China as a private citizen 4 days later when he was toppled in a coup d'etat back in Ghana. Nkrumah went into exile in Guinea and never set foot in Ghana again. He died from cancer in 1972. The corrupt military and civilian regimes that followed were a rude awakening from the big dreams Ghanaians had at independence. Despite its lucrative cocoa and gold exports, the country was broke throughout most of the 70s. Inflation rocketed to about 120%. But in the late 70s, Ghana turned another page in its history. Chris Hesse's career also took another turn when a charismatic flight lieutenant named Jerry Rawlings came onto the political scene. He led a coup, organized elections, and handed over power to the winners. But by 1981, he was back in charge after staging another coup.
There are countries who just get up and can seize power. In Ghana, the military can only succeed when the people are calling for it. Yes. So, in effect, I want you to understand that power or the quest for political office has never been part of my passion. My passion is to fight for justice.
Rawlings ruled Ghana as a military dictator and then as a democratically elected president until the year 2000. It was during his 2 terms as a civilian leader that he won applause from the World Bank for starting to liberalize Ghana's economy. Chris Hesse was also getting accolades of his own and preparing to retire. Ghana's gentle giant John Kufuor took over from Rawlings after elections in 2000. Under Kufuor's leadership, cocoa and gold production are on the rise, while inflation is low and economic growth is steady. But most Ghanaians see peace as the country's greatest achievement. That and the fact that their country gave the world former United Nations Secretary General Kofi Annan, who returned home in December after a decade as the planet's top diplomat.
This is a very wonderful homecoming. My wife Nan and I are extremely happy to be here, and when we looked out of the window and saw that you are here in your numbers to welcome us home, we were really, really moved. It's been a long journey, and today I complete the circle, and I'm really looking forward to sitting down with my compatriots, men and women of Ghana.
Ghana turned 50 on March 6 this year. Dignitaries came from within and beyond Africa's borders to join Ghana's people in their lavish Jubilee celebrations.
We have to celebrate because the Golden Jubilee, a 50-year journey from independence, is really worth it. We should celebrate it. We haven't done anything. It's small. We should do something more.
Had it not been by the help of our president, our ex-president, Ghana would have still, maybe, we wouldn't have attained independence now. So it's worth it celebrating it, yes.
While some people were filled with joy and nostalgia, others pointed at the prevailing poverty in Ghana and the $20 million bill the public has been handed for its 50th birthday party.
There is nothing, as far as I'm concerned, to celebrate on our 50th anniversary, because the freedom that was unleashed as a result of the revolt, brought under control, and the creative energy, that sense of purpose, they've destroyed it, because today they have terrorized Ghanaians into a submissive situation. We are on the verge of being emasculated.
They're only concentrating on the celebration, but the poverty is still there. What does it mean to the common people? You understand? I'm unemployed, right? And then I have finished my education. I'm looking for a job, and then there is no job. So I can't say, it don't really matter to me like, Ghana is 50 years old. Then I can say, okay, let me lift my flag high up, right? It don't really matter to me, because at the end of the day, I haven't got a job. I can't even buy the flag. You get me? I can't even buy the flag because it's expensive.
Some people believe that Ghana still has a long way to go, which is the same way Chris's friends and family feel about him, even though the retired filmmaker is now in his 70s. And even with his unique perspective on the past, Chris's focus is on the future.
Say, Nkrumah and those who left independence for us, what are we leaving for our next generation? He brought the independence, so how are we developing that independent state of Ghana to a higher level? Because he laid the foundation and started and gave us the independence. So the only thing is to build upon those foundations, and I'm sure he left a very strong, solid foundation for us. And we cannot go wrong with the structure. I don't think we'll be forgiving.
Kwame Nkrumah has been dead for 35 years. Jerry Rawlings is retired, and John Kufuor steps down after elections next year. Reverend Chris Hesse, the man who witnessed and chronicled it all, is also retired and has decided to spend the rest of his life ministering to prisoners, because he believes that mistakes should be left in the past so that the future can stay clear and bright.